Greetings. As we go into the weekend, I thought I would summarize Latin resources. It's been a long time since I've done this one, but it is one of my main lithium portfolio investments. And given that they release news constantly, there's not been much to update myself because they do a pretty good job themselves. However, they've recently released their updated presentation via Fast Markets. There's been a few news items in the press, and I think it was just worth talking about this one in addition to others that I've been talking about. So, first of all, as you can see, there's with Latin Resources, just to summarize, share price performance to date, it's got good cash position. Its valuation is quite significant now and growing. And it's got quite a number of institutional investors already, which is great news. The thing I like about this resource is where it's based in Brazil, and the fact that it's been given the nickname of Sigma Lithium 2 because of the similarities, size, and proximity, etc., etc. So all those things I really like. So just to summarize where they are, I'm reading today from something. So what the key things for us to look out for is that LRS, Latin Resources, they're looking to issue a final investment decision this year, with first production anticipated in 2026. They're expecting to release an initial reserve or an updated reserve, and then results from DFS in the perhaps Q3, Q4 of this year. The other crucial thing is they're in discussions on offtake agreements. I think that is a crucial one for them to, very important one for them to release as well, if possible. If they can get good agreements in place, it's very important for a final investment decision. And also, my understanding is that Latin Resources has started the process of procurement for long lead items. I don't know how far they are along with that, but anyway. So good valuation, well cashed up, progressing, still drilling, looking to expand the resource, and they seem to be along with the timeline quite nicely, which we'll look at a bit later. Just to summarize the whole project from the PEA, and again, what stands out is their expected NPV of $3.6 billion. Very healthy relative to the current valuation / share price now. This is supposed to be updated during the DFS, so let's watch out for that. A lot of milestones for them to achieve. They continue to expand their resource base. There is potential there. I remember when I first invested, there was an understanding that there could be potentially 100 million tons, but if they can get close to that or close to what we have on this chart, greater than 90 or thereabouts, I still think it's an amazing resource in the right place and at the right time. So the schedule is, I don't think much has changed here. They seem to be going according to schedule. If they continue, I think there's some very interesting catalysts coming. I've listed out most of those up front. Right, now let's talk about some of the risks. So what I've been finding with a lot of my investments is I'm riding the curve. So if you're early when there's a low valuation, there's a lot of hype, and your share price goes kind of sky high in relation to the valuation, the number of shares on issue. However, the company invariably needs more equity, so there is dilution along the way for it to go along on its journey. What I have found is that if you want to be a successful long-term investor in these mining resources, the entry point does matter. Coming in early does matter, and the timing with which the company does its equity raises and dilution is also extremely important. If they get heaps of cash at high valuations, high share price valuations, that cushions you as an early investor later on when there are fluctuations. These are just my learnings. Also, there seems to be invariably a strong effect of the lithium spot price. Now remember, lithium spot price is principally a price that's based in China, but does seem to be the benchmark, and that really tends to drive those short-term valuations, and obviously that can really impact the price at which a company can raise future equity, which it will need. So these offtake agreements and the type of arrangements they're in, and getting those equity raises at the right time is also very important. My view is that just focusing on a spot price is myopic, because you're going to have a production profile in place for maybe 20 years. So just looking at 1, 2, 3 years is not really correct. But nevertheless, you have sentiment, you have momentum, and you're given the cards that are dealt out to you. So you just have to deal with it. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that there's been this focus on, it's Brazil and really well placed for demand in North America. That's true. That's true. But there's going to be demand in Brazil for EVs, for energy storage systems, regardless. Secondly, as I'm just putting up here as well, Cattle has recently announced that it is forming a fund, about 1.5 billion US dollars, to help finance and exploit resources around the world. So you're still seeing a lot of interest in resources around the world, especially the lower cost resources that China and others need for processing. Hence, this resource in Brazil, yes, North America is a target, but I think it's bigger than that. And one should really focus, if this is becoming a global market, similar to other energy products, oil, LNG, then it's global demand that we should really be focused upon. And as long as that's driving upwards, resources, low-cost resources, economic resources will be needed, and therefore Latin resources is absolutely in queue for that. So with that, there are risks. The next few months could be rocky. We do have catalysts. However, the company will need to do more equity raises. And we do have a weak spot price. So a lot of things in play. However, I think myself, I've come in at a good level anyway. I am very tempted, by the way, to expand my holding at the current levels, which most recently I think were around 17 cents per share. But we'll see and make those decisions, guys. A lot of brokers, more recently Bell Potter, have still given very healthy valuations, and when they do their valuations, they take account of some level of dilution, etc. Looking forwards. But I'm excited about this one. I think after Vulcan Energy, this is the second most exciting lithium stock that I currently have. That's a bit of a summary for me. Any comments from yourself, any learnings, any insights, please post them. And 2026 is just around the corner. Have a great weekend. Cheers.